We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan. Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get 50 after Monday Night Raw?
What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's Off the Air. It's Tuesday, December 9th. We're going to break down NXT as we always do, and I'm stoked about it. No question. I have an awesome crew hanging out with me tonight. No doubt about it. Tuesday Night Delight Shoddy is not here. I'm just going to get ahead of that situation before we do, but there's a guy you should. He's in Louisville, Kentucky. What was it always again, Driz?
Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. I am the wrestling plug himself, Dryzzy. And, you know, all right, last week's show was horrible. We needed this week's show last week because this week's show, fire. Absolute fire. Can't wait.
No question about it, Driz. I'm with you. And it is the guy you should believe in, no doubt about it. We've got the wrestling plug in the building, but we've also got a first timer here. We got a first timer here. Get your ones up like it's Roman Reigns. I'm going to toss this one to Chicago, though, because Davis is in the building on a Tuesday night. What's going on? It's Santa Davis, no less.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome. And no Shad tonight. I don't know where Shad is. I think I might go fly to Washington, D.C. and go on a scavenger hunt to find him. So we're going to go that direction, but can't wait to talk NXT. A great show. Great show. Can't wait to get into it.
No doubt about it. I am fired up to be here. And like you said, I have a good feeling about where Shad is, and he's hanging in there watching this show, no question. We've got Buenos Noches, WR crew from friend of the show, Fernando Zayas. Good to have you, as always, Fernando, no question. And this main event was fire. Pretty Ricky Saints finally shows his true colors. One Keith's show indeed was good, but that main event was a PLE type of match. What a banger. If Keith might be involved in that endeavor that Davis was talking about there earlier. I'm just saying. But then we've also got all caps. Thank you, DCX Warlord. Clark has been right about Stinky Ricky the whole time. Yes, I have. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then he said, I love Davis' shirt.
What y'all know about some What y'all know about some Hanson? Y'all know about no Hanson.
Not my do. What it do what do you? Gosh, I love that song. Who doesn't love Hanson? That does look like the Young Bucks, though.
Oh, no, it is.
I know it is. But Hanson, man, they got it. Heck of a song. No doubt about it. Let's get into that main event, though. Let's open with the main event. Let's talk about Javon Evans. Let's talk about Obafemi, and let's talk about Ricky, not a Saint. And the Saints do not go marching in. And his interference in this match, interrupting Javon's chance to win a title against Obafemi in front of Cody Rhodes. I mean, obviously, Ricky's out here trying to impress Cody. I'm going to go to you, Driz, out of the gates, man. What did you think of the main event? Oba retains, as should be the case, but a lot of stones to be unturned here.
I'm not going to lie. This is maybe the fourth time that those two have faced off against each other, and it feels like every single time it's like a puzzle, like hand in glove. It just fits. Everything they do is so fluid. Everything is fun. I feel like there's nothing off the table when Oba and Javon touch in the ring together. Like Javon is able to be tossed around, and he already jumps around enough. But it's like Obafemi it's like the world is his playground when he's facing Javon because he can do whatever, and Javon's gonna give right back to him. These two, we've always said that Oba is gonna be a WrestleMania main eventer. Javon and Oba may be a WrestleMania main event that we are going to get in the future. And honestly, I cannot wait until we see that because these two always knock it out of the park when they in the ring with each other.
I couldn't agree more. I think Javon and Oba for years to come can be the rivalry of the century. I do find it fascinating that coming out of this match, they both feel like baby faces, right? And at the same time, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day,
Oba Femi is healed by proxy. He has to be the heel, but it's not like your traditional, oh, I do nefarious things heel. He's your, I'm the man you have to conquer heel. The Brock Lesnar style.
I mean, I think that's fair. I think Oba is in a unique position because he's really likable.
Yeah.
Compared to most people his size.
He does fun stuff. He says he does cool stuff.
You know what he's kind of got the vibe of is like Carmelo Anthony. Like you forget he's 6'8", 240.
Yep.
But you just like his style. You know what I mean? Like that's the way that I sort of view Obafemi, where I'm like, he's got a unique talent to be a babyface that's dominant.
Yep.
It's like okay with me. I think on the main roster he needs to debut as a heel. But down the road, we can tap into stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know who else was an absolute unbeatable monster that made one heck of a baby face? The Undertaker. And I'm just saying, that's something that's been missing for quite some time. Obafemi can be that guy. And you heard it here first. I'll make the comparison. Obafemi can be the Undertaker of this generation, no doubt, and be a babyface monster. I think it's absolutely possible. Now, Davis, I got to ask you a few questions about this one too, because we got the Ricky Saints involvement. We've got Javon nearly winning this match. Then we've got Oba going over. And then, of course, you'll be at the show in DC when Oba takes on one Cody Rhodes. So what were your thoughts coming out of this, and what are your early feelings as far as what you're going to see at that show in the DMV? And I didn't mean to rhyme that, but that worked out perfect.
Perfect. Out the gate, I thought Javon was taking this. I was like, this is his time. They're finally going to give it to him. Where else can you do it? Why did Javon even win at the pay-per-view on Saturday? But then you had the Ricky Saints factor, you had Oba and Cody, and then it's kind of threw a little like a wrench in everything. First things first, this rivalry is something I don't believe NXT's ever seen in quite some time. It's face versus face. It is just that it's hard to describe this aura they have both around. Javon just brings a different style to Oba, but they mesh well, which is crazy. I actually happened to see the Stand and Deliver match last year with Trick involved, and I felt like Oba and Javon hit it off more than Trick in either one of them. So it's great to see them have won another match. I can't wait to see them again down the line. We're going to see them again. With Ricky Saints' involvement, I think it does give Javon Evans something to do until the inevitable Javon Evans title win. You get them feuding for a couple months down the road. You give Obafemi feuding with whoever wins the Fatal 4-Way, which I'm pretty sure we'll talk about here in a little bit. It keeps them away from each other. What I do think down the line is WrestleMania weekend, Stand and Deliver, Javon Evans crowning moment. Now, when this comes to Saturday night main event, I'm going to make maybe not so much of a hot take. I got Obafemi going clean over Cody Rhodes. They put the stamp on the future, and they shoot Obafemi to the moon starting Saturday.
I like that too. Do you not see a little bit of Drew McIntyre involvement, though?
I want to say no, but I think we do.
Yeah,
I want to say no. I want to say what's best for. Shout out Paul Levesque. What's best for business is Obafemi going over clean, because it makes him look. You got to think with Saturday, you have young, old, past wrestling fans coming together. Saturday is a very unique experience, but it's a big opportunity for people like Obafemi to put eyes on Obafemi.
It is so funky, this Saturday experience. I'm glad you brought that up too, because I actually kind of want to unpack some of that. We have this opportunity on Tuesday night, and it's the night show, by the way, too. So we're allowed to make jokes here, Davis. Don't feel free to let them fly. You can make fun of anybody on the Tuesday night show. It's off the air. This ain't the daily, my friend.
We give an award for it, actually.
Yeah. We have our fans are award winning. The fans of the year. I don't know if you know this at WR. I've gone to the Tuesday night loyal fans of Off the Air every single year. That's a fictional award that I give out. Nobody gets any sort of trophy or anything, but statistically speaking,
you might get a cosmic brownie without a wrapper, though.
Yeah, that's the deal. 100%. Now, Driz, I do want to ask you just a quick question when it comes to Oba Cody. Is there any scenario where this match finishes clean? Is that even in the cards?
I think it is.
Really?
Obafemi is gonna be a big enough star that you could give Cody. Cody could take that loss. I think Cody could take that loss to Obafemi.
Absolutely. Okay, let's keep it rolling on today's show. And DCX Warlord, you know what? I will absolutely, Mama. I love you. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, my mama. Love you, Lori Taylor. More than anything, no doubt about it. All right, let's keep it rolling on today's show, though. Let's talk about let's talk about Kalani Jordan and Jordan Grace.
Call her by her proper name.
Jordan.
She is hurt.
She is hurt. Yeah, I mean it's Jordan versus Jordan. First name, last name, different spellings, no less. Which is just to add the confusion. I'll say this. Listen, with the TNA partnership and everything that's gone down, obviously that seems like in the near future it's gonna continue to be a factor. Kalani has held the Knockouts title, done numerous things on Thursdays and Tuesdays. Jordan Grace, while being signed to the WWE and NXT, still feels like a TNA superstar at times. Still feels like a knockout at times. I love this matchup. I've seen it before. And that's the only thing that's frustrating about it. Like, for me, Kalani is so darn good. I think it's time that Kalani is called up. And that is no knock on Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace, being the valuable veteran on NXT, is more valuable on NXT. She can do great things on the main roster. That is not a knock on Jordan Grace when I say that. But it is so time to call up Kalani. It's long overdue. And Davis, I want to ask you, what were your thoughts on the match? And when, if ever, are we going to bring Kalani onto the main roster?
Dude, it clicked just when you said that. I'm watching the match and I'm thinking something's up here. Something doesn't fit right. And I'm thinking Kalani has no business being in this match because she should already be on the main roster. When we're talking about the two and their two ceilings and floors when it comes to NXT, Kalani Jordan, I believe, has already reached her ceiling when it comes to NXT. And it's not a knock on Kalani. It's not a knock on her at all. She's a great talent. I think she needs to go to the main roster and make an impact in the mid-card championship with the women. I think she adds value there. With Jordan Grace's ceiling in NXT, she could be the NXT Women's Champion tomorrow, and nobody would bat an eye. I don't think Kalani Jordan's there yet, and I don't think she can get there because of people like Jordan Grace, because of JC Jane, because of just that stacked roster who is ahead of Kalani Jordan for that specific title. But coming out of this, I don't think she's getting called up. I think they are going to continue this feud for a little bit longer. It is going to end probably, I would say, a street fight, last woman standing. But I do think Jordan Grace, as far as who comes out on top, Jordan Grace comes out on top, maybe sends Kalani to the main roster, or maybe after WrestleMania season.
I think so too. And that, honestly, we could arguably not be more on the same page, sincerely, when it comes to this situation, because I look at the Monday Night Raw after Mania this year, and that has to be Kalani Jordan in some sort of scenario, because the other factor that I've beat, I feel like I'm being a dead horse on this show the more I say it, but people forget Kalani Jordan is arguably a top 5 athlete in all of wrestling, let alone on the WWE roster. Athletically speaking, she can do things that other people cannot do, and do them well. And she's just that good athletically, and given her dedication as far as she's come along. I look at somebody like on the men's side coming out of NXT, like a Damian Priest, who maybe didn't necessarily win the NXT title before he was called up, but he's a world champion.
Yeah.
And that's how I sort of view Kalani right now. And she's even younger. Driz, do you feel the same? And what did you think about the match itself?
First off, the match had me until we got to the barricade spot. You can't sit there and feed me these scenarios where you have large women like Jada Parker and Lash Legend, and all these people have to break it by running it at full speed, and then it just falls apart because Jordan fell into it. That is the only thing that threw me off about it. This definitely is not the last match between the two. Jordan and Kalani are going to have some kind of last woman standing street fight somewhere along the line within these next couple of weeks, if not at New Year's Eve, will most likely, just because it's the end of the year. WWE likes to give their talent some time off. I just need them to elevate this. Yes, Clark, you said we've seen this match before, and for the most part, it's been kind of some of the same stuff. Jordan comes in like a ball of fire. Kalani does nefarious things, and boom, she sneaks away with the win. But eventually, we have to give Jordan one of these wins. We have to give Jordan some kind of win, because we're slowly treading into that Dolph Ziggler territory where, yeah, you can put on great matches, but we're not going to give you any wins. And I do not need that for Jordan Grace. She is a world-renowned talent. Absolutely could be a world champion anywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing, I think. And Davis said this similar, where she could be the NXT Women's Champ tomorrow,
and it wouldn't be weird. It
and
would not look crazy.
It wouldn't matter.
We wouldn't give the same looks that we gave JC Jane when she won it.
Right. And that's where we're just in a funky little spot here, because we've also got Blake Monroe on the horizon. Right. And this is where it gets odd to me. And this is something you know what? I'm going to take this little time myself to complain about something that happened on tonight's NXT. I think Blake Monroe is a really great talent. I've made fun of her on the show, all of the above, of course. Yeah, if you're a regular viewer, you know all of what I've said about Blake Monroe. But here's the thing. If the entire roster is against her in the women's division, as was presented tonight, that isn't something that she can overcome without making everybody else look bad. And that is really frustrating to me. Why are we doing that? That seems throwaway and petty. And Blake Monroe built a heck of a rivalry with Timeless Tony Storm, who I believe is currently the best character in all of women's wrestling. I think anybody that has a rivalry with Timeless Tony Storm comes out looking better on the back end. No doubt about it. And so does Tony Storm. She's one of the only women in wrestling that can accomplish that. And she made Mariah May, not Blake Monroe. She made Mariah May look like an absolute all-star, a world beater. And now we're here, I don't love it. It gives me a little ooey feeling in my stomach when it comes down to the women that surrounded her, because there's only two choices, like I said before, and that is Mariah May. Blake Monroe defeats all of them, or she acquiesces and maybe puts one person over. But it seems unfair to me, and I don't really like it. I have the same problem with Ricky Saints, and you can tell me it's, oh, Clark, you're upset about AEW people going over to WWE. It is not about that. It's about talent, and it's about working within that system. And to me, the system right now hasn't been working when it comes to this particular portion of the booking. Now, Driz, I know you've been along for the ride, so I'm going to go to you first. Then, Davis, I want to get your thoughts. But how do you feel about that when it comes to the Blake Monroe situation in the women's division?
I don't feel like that the way. So there's ways to do these things, and I don't think tonight really made her put her in the best light. And we are also still, because it was literally just last year. Potentially, Blake Monroe has the opportunity to win Match of the Year and Feud of the Year from another company in the same year that she's a champion in this company. But that's for something different.
That's a good point.
Blake Monroe doesn't need to feel like a beatable champion. She doesn't need to look like it, and that's what it kind of made her look like. Like the whole roster is against her now. The whole roster is looking at her like she's chopped liver, and then somebody who has not been on NXT television for I don't know how many months now, and Lord knows I love Cynthia Hale. She is one of my girlies, but you can't just throw her in like that and make her. You can't justify her getting a title shot just because she made her tap. There are different things going through your mind when you are in the ring. You get put in a Kimura and you're tapping. You know there's no active ref or anything around. This is not a sanctioned thing. Where are your papers? Where is the ref? There's none of this. Like, this is not something that you can just make happen. And I really do have an issue with that, because if we want Blake Monroe to be this successful, we cannot treat her as if she can just drop the belt anytime.
I hear you there too. And I think what made it worse was the sitting down in the middle of the Kumbaya circle.
And like everybody looking around her, and she just kind of holding her like, oh my God. Like she's in high school and got pushed down and she's upset about it now. Like,
Shad's not here to say it, but I'll say it on his behalf. Isn't that Tatum's spot?
Ooh.
Isn't that Tatum Paxley's spot? I'm just saying, man. It threw me for a real loop. And Davis, I got to ask you about it. You know, me and Driz have talked about it, but what do you think? Like, it seemed goofier than a football bat in my eyes.
You have, in all of professional wrestling, the greatest rivalry in the past, in my opinion, the past decade was Mariah May versus Toni Storm. And you have one half of that on your roster. What were we doing tonight? That made her look like the most unserious champion. She has the highest ceiling out of. I talked about Jordynne Grace having a high ceiling. When a year comes from now, it should be Blake Monroe. Blake Monroe should be on her way to becoming the most dominant NXT women's champion of all time. That's her ceiling. I'm going to reserve a little bit for maybe they build something for this, but this wasn't a great start. Next week doesn't need to be a good match. She needs to beat Thea Hale within 5 minutes. She needs to look like a dominant champ. She needs to hold that belt. She needs to hold both belts. You have, I think, one of your best acquisitions. I think she's a higher acquisition than Jordynne Grace for the NXT roster. We need to treat her like it, and we need to treat her like it quick. My fear is the crowd growing stale of what's going on. She's already a heel. she probably stays a heel, becoming the most dominant NXT Women's Champion of all time. But today wasn't a great start. They might cook a little bit. I have faith in Sean, but Blake Monroe should be positioned to be skyrocketed.
So it's funny because I was highly critical of her out of the gates upon her debut because here was my problem. And Ricky Saints is at least close enough to Ricky Starks. We can make that joke. Blake Monroe and Mariah May feel like two different people. Mariah May was arguably the most electric character in all of women's wrestling alongside Toni Storm. They felt like each other's muses. Like it was like a Shawn Michaels Triple H-esque rivalry.
Like it just
and it just the chemistry was unbelievable, and the story that was told was off. I was at Revolution last year in Los Angeles. It was I'm going this year half because of that, not mostly geography, but still the net of it is like I'm frustrated with this whole Blake Monroe thing because here's the other factor that I can't figure out. Jade Cargill, who I love, skipped the line. She skipped the line.
And is a stale champion already.
No.
Whoa, I got more bags of tricks. She's stale champion already.
Easy, Hornet. Easy. Jade Cargill has been as good of a champion as anybody could ask. And not only that, she's going to beat the brakes off of like the next 40 women she faces. And I hope it takes a combined 45 minutes. Like that's what Jade Cargill was built to do. In this world, there are certain people that are just born dominators. And Jade's one of those. If it was medieval times, she'd be on horseback and she'd be swinging the biggest weapon you've ever seen, hacking heads off mercilessly. That's who Jade Cargill is.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, Jade Cargill is absolutely gonna be the dominant champion she deserves to be. She's gonna make Goldberg look like his streak was fake. Is what I'm hoping for out of Jade. And then we can build. Then we can build the final boss. And that doesn't work these days. Not the final boss. We can build the final who can overcome Jade Cargill, whoever that may be. I think that's the route you have to go with Jade because strike while the iron's hot. Let's talk about Shiloh Hill and Lexis King, though.
Didn't realize it was Lexis King till the match was over.
Yeah, he didn't. I didn't really. Lexis King went to the traditional trunks this week. He made an executive decision, and that happened. And then Shiloh Hill took his veneer out, or his tooth out, handed the mouthpiece to the referee, and became a completely different human being.
First off, if I was that referee, I'm not taking that. I don't. You better find.
He did just grab that with his bare hand and like.
It was like, I couldn't.
It's a wild move.
It could not be me because I'm definitely like, you better put that in your own. But I'm not holding your teeth.
Davis, I gotta ask you about this one, dude. What'd you think, Shiloh with the victory?
I'm disqualifying him for that. Like, you know what? Ring the bell. We're not doing that.
Man, strap a rocket to Shiloh. Strap a rocket. The character he brings is just so tremendous. He kind of reminds me of, and my older crowd will know who this person is, Sick Boy from WCW, but just with more talent. He's great. His character is so good. And if y'all have a chance, go check out his Instagram. He is constantly buying stuff on the dark web and reviewing it. And it's a little sketchy. It's a little sketchy, but it's good entertainment. And that's what his character is. I think that's why he was picked to win LFG. I think he was chosen he's just a great character. I think the sky's the limit for him. Do I think he's going to be the NXT world champion? No. Do I think he's going to be a mainstay on the main roster? Absolutely. Intercontinental Championship, U.S. Championship is not out of the realm for that man.
I love the psychology. I think he's kind of crazy. If you follow him, he's just a wild follow. Like
He's a big baller. What
we've got
WTF? He is a big baller. WTF? What WTF?
yeah, he's a wild man. Driz, what did you think of the match, and what do you think of Shiloh?
The match, he actually it highlighted him in all the correct ways. He got to show that he's this weird kooky guy who just does crazy stuff. I'm slightly concerned the longevity of this stuff. So we're 1-1 with our LFG winners now. We've done okay with Jasper Troy. I'll say that he's a success. Tyra May still, we haven't seen too much from it. It doesn't seem like that's working out too much, so they're kind of reinventing her and Evolve. He's probably going to be the one where Shiloh Hill's going to be the one where we're like, okay, so is this formula working or not? So far, the crowd seems to be taking to him. He brings something different than what the other two give, so it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment, but I'll say in about a month we'll know for real if this is going to be, if he's going to end up being that guy that we can sit there and say, hey, LFG is working. Let's go try and make this is the blueprint, because the blueprint kind of is starting with him. He's got the vignettes. He's doing all these crazy things, and because of social media, his social media following is so good. He may have a little bit more of a following. It may be like I said, the blueprint to how they'll proceed to pull these LFG guys up and just present them to the world.
Absolutely. I'm 100% with you. And it's interesting the way that LFG has turned out between Evolve and NXT. I don't think we'll even know if it's a success for the next like 3 or 4 years until we see what happens from there.
Yeah, because we're kind of just going on a month-to-month basis. And like I said, Jasper Troy disappears for 2 months at a time, and he comes back, and he's still a dominant monster. Tyra May still, we haven't seen since it was a pay-per-view tag match, I believe. And I don't know if that's just due to the women's roster being the way that it is or what it is, but I really feel like if you're going to present these people as winners, and that they need to be out there getting the reps.
Absolutely. Okay, let's run through a couple things that happened on tonight's show really quick too, so we can get into our final topic of the evening out here on Tuesday night. Let's talk really quickly though. A couple things went down. Hank and Tank cut a promo about their time in Japan. That went well. It was fun.
No more belly. No more belly.
Yeah, no more belly. They're in shape. The Honor, all of that. We've also got Sol Ruka taking on Ren Sinclair. Sol picks up the victory. She then also makes up with Zarya, and they go to have some fun at the end of the night. That went down as well. Then we've got two more that we need to get to. First and foremost, let's talk about Fatal Influence and JC Jane Driz. Because they stare down Kendall Gray. We really put Kendall Gray on the spot here. They called her basically Diet Kurt Angle. That was kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, Driz. What were your thoughts on the promo exchange? How do you think Kendall did in her first real shot on a national stage like that with the microphone?
I don't hate the promo exchange. I really feel like she did the best she could. As a babyface, it's hard to when you go against a good heel like JC James, it's hard. It really is. You have to stay in these rules. You got to sound like this. You got to be uplifting. You got to have the crowd in your helmet in your hand. She did the best she could, but I don't think that. But I think that's the reason why she's with Ren Sinclair. Ren Sinclair is a stronger mic presence than Kendall is, and I think that will benefit her in the future. Just having somebody like Kendall, having somebody like Ren on her in her back pocket. Kendall's talking needs to be done in the ring, and I'm absolutely okay with it. There are just some wrestlers that just need to be the in-ring person, like the Dean Malenkos, the Claudio Castro, those guys that you might have to give them a mouthpiece. We don't come to see them talk; we come to see them wrestle. And Kendall Gray has shown that we are here to see her wrestle.
No doubt about it. I thought she did a heck of a job, though, considering, you know who I thought did even better, though? Ren Sinclair.
Yes, but
Ren,
that's what she's here for, and I'm
Ren
okay with that.
covered that like absolutely money. Davis, are you in the same boat? How are you feeling about it?
The vibe I got from this promo is very similar to another championship feud that took place earlier in the year with the Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. I felt like this went. JC Jane was light years ahead of her on the mic. It was light years, and it wasn't even close. She cooked her on the mic. Thank goodness for Ren to be there to handle her side of the microphone. But that's what it did remind me of. JC Jane. This showed more to me about JC Jane than anything. She's gold on this microphone. I don't think she loses that title for any time soon. Not in this scenario.
I'm kind of with you, man. I think JC's run has been overlooked. She sort of mentioned it tonight. She did a heck of a job on the microphone on her end. We didn't really highlight that as much as I would have liked, and I'm glad you brought it up because I think you're absolutely spot on. But we do have one more thing we have to get to before we go, and I have to talk about this personally, and that's all ego, not just some ego, but all ego. Ethan Page, and he brings up how he's made the North American title and everybody loves it and we're all excited. And then Tony D returns. And guess what? I just watched Rounders. Mike McDermott, Matt Damon. That's who Tony D is right now. He's going to play in cards straight up. He used to have the advantage and he used to be the scammer. But guess what he's going to do now? He's going to play in cards straight up. And you know what? He's not so bad. He's not so bad. He's not. This is the first person on the NXT roster to defeat Obafemi. This is Tony D'Angelo. He doesn't need the whole family this time. It's different. All the chips are pushed to the middle. He's going to play you straight up. And see how it goes. And see what you think. And see what you think. All ego Ethan Page. Because Tony D's ego is gone. His group is gone. All of that is gone, but he's still Tony D'Angelo. Look at the resume. And wait till you see this one. Because Tony D will carry that title again. I guarantee it right now. I'm calling it right now. Tony D'Angelo defeats all ego Ethan Page at the very first opportunity. And he does it easily. And I cannot wait for this match. I thought, personally, this was my highlight of the night. But, Davis, I'm going to go to you first, then you, Driz. What did you think? Tony D, all ego Ethan Page.
At first, I thought, similar to what you were saying, I think this leads to Tony D taking the title. It's very hard to see where Tony D's head's at because he just attacked Siobhan Evans on the PLE. So I don't know. I'm gonna definitely have to see where this goes. I could definitely see him taking the title. With this shows me, and I'm gonna make a comparison. Ethan Page is like that worker in your company that you can't promote because he means too much to where he's at. I don't see Ethan Page on the main roster anytime soon. I think with him in NXT, it's just he means so much to that brand, to AAA. He's just that worker you can't promote yet because he means so much to where he's at. To me, he doesn't lose that title. He's keeping that title. He's making rounds with that title. With Tony D, we'll see where it lands. But yeah, Ethan Page to the moon where he's at right now.
I hear where you're coming from. I'll say this. I think he keeps the AAA title. No doubt about it. But I think that North American title won't have a Canadian flag strap for very long. It might be Italian, in the words of my grandmother Mary, no doubt. But I will say, Driz, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about the Tony D return? Interesting. He inserted himself into the world title picture, and then once again tonight inserts himself into the show, but it's the North American title picture. Obviously unique since Deadline, a little different, and we've covered all Ego's run since he cut a heck of a promo when it comes to, everything else. I just got to get your thoughts as well before we send everybody home, and happy Tuesday.
I actually agree with Davis. I don't think that Tony D is particularly targeting the North American title. I think he's probably just attacking whoever is in the ring with a microphone at that point in time. As far as it goes with Ego, I said it while the promo was happening. NXT is going to be in a very bad spot when Ego leaves. I don't think that bringing in Ego, they thought that he knew. I don't think they knew what they had when they signed him, because I don't think they just knew that this guy was going to be your. They were going to put the the NXT title on him, and he run with it as much as he did. That they think they was going to give him the North American title, and he run with that as much as he did. It's gotten to a point where that belt has been so important, and it's people want that. People, first off, people will love to see him get beat, but you need heel champions like this. You need people like him in your companies. He is the perfect glue for almost everybody who wants to go after the North American title. He has been an entertaining part, and his banter with other people that aren't surrounded in the picture also make the show that much better as well. His moments with Ava, absolutely gold. That's the stuff that you need on the main roster. He does so much good main roster stuff in NXT. We have to remember NXT is a TV show that gets rated and everything. And I hope they have a backup plan, because we're going to be back in those days of when Mello and Breaker and everybody left for the main roster. When he leaves, you're going to fill that hole again. But they're going to have to build some more people up and probably give some really good feuds for him and Paige while he's there, because
See, I see Tony D as the target for the main roster.
I do
sooner
too.
than I see, right?
I really feel like he's that masked guy running around doing Seth Rollins moves. I'm not going to say why, because a lot of people have gone and saying that they think it's Austin Theory because Austin Theory's butt. Which, why are y'all looking at Austin Theory's butt?
We can't get into this, but I have okay, everybody, we're going to do a new segment presented by sponsors. Hit us up. Tinfoil hat time. Okay. Everyone put your tinfoil hat time on conspiracy theory. I think the person that's masked is going to be different people, or it's been maybe the same person. But then they're eventually just going to tell us it's Seth Rollins.
It's retribution.
They're going to be like, it was Seth. And then we have to buy it. And who are we to say it wasn't?
I do not have to buy that. The only thing I have to do is stay.
They're just going to have it be whoever is available is going to do it. And they're going to keep doing Seth's moves. And then at the end, they're going to be like, it was me all along. It's always been my vision.
What if that they keep doing Seth's move, and then Braun goes to win the title, and that guy comes out, and Braun thinks he's attacking Punk, but attacks Braun, does reveal as Seth, sets up Seth and Braun, because we can't forget what the last time we saw Seth.
Boom. Yeah, dude, it's going to be Seth. They're never going to tell us who actually did that spot.
Some guy from Evolve is taking over.
It's probably actually Austin Theory.
It's Jack Cartwheel. Oh my god.
We've got a whole roster full of wrestlers. It's probably like Austin Theory.
It's
but
retribution.
they're gonna tell us it's Seth. That's my conspiracy theory. Either way, with that, it's gonna bring us to the end of the show. Thank you. I hope everyone had a great Tuesday. If you didn't, it's Taco Tuesday. Go get tacos. Hopefully they're cheap near you. And I've always loved them. It cheers me up on Tuesdays. I would recommend it. Also, check out Off the Air every single Tuesday night following NXT. More importantly than that, though, you need to check out Grappling for Position if you haven't. Dryzzy hosts it all the time. It's a heck of a show. It's awesome. Following that to the daily broadcast, you want to check that one out. That's every single day. That's noon Pacific. It's of course 3 o'clock on the East Coast. That's 8 a.m. in the UK, and it's 9 a.m. for my good friends in Hawaii. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. On behalf of me, Clark, Davis, Dryzzy, and everybody at WR, we will talk to you soon. Papa, whatever. Have a great Tuesday.